got 25 minutes. We gotta go.
Hello. Happy Wednesday, everyone.
Welcome back, everybody. Man, it has been a minute.
Yes, we're back. We're back on the scene. It is season 4, and we are so excited for season 4 and what we have in store for everyone, so we can get back to those real conversations. If you're joining us for the very first time, welcome to Say That channel, where we talk about the ugly come up. So you know how like people have massive success and you know they came from nowhere, right? But what happens in the middle? What happens during that ugly come up? Well, we're unapologetic in giving words and a voice to that process and the different things that we need to learn along the way. And so please subscribe, smash that like button, turn on the notification bells. That way you don't miss a moment. And if you would like to continue to support us and want to catch any of our overtime, please go to our StreamYard. It's in the description box below and become one of our community members.
Absolutely. And guys, we know there's a lot going on in the world right now. We don't want to focus a lot on what is going on in the overall world because we have a lot of audience of people we want to cater to, but we want to acknowledge what's going on in light of the mental health challenges that the world, and with the tragedy that's just happened recently with the shooting. You know, we just want to send our love, prayers to anybody affected by what's been going on. It is obviously a shame that things like that are still taking place. So I think the conversation that we have today, although not directly about that, is going to be something that you guys can look to maybe help brighten the day, right? So we just want to put that out there. But enough of that. Now let's get into our guests. Let's get into today's question. Same format as before. So
I got a drum roll.
Today's question.
Today's question is, could ignoring your mental health be hurting your business?
Oh, this one
Could it be?
Really good. Yeah, no, definitely. And who do we got coming on today, Jay?
All right. Well, I am super excited for everyone today to meet our guests. They are both serial entrepreneurs. They're mentoring other entrepreneurs in the South Florida area. They're just really two incredible gentlemen who see what the vision is for what life could be like for so many people, especially the younger generations, and they're out there putting in the work and like making it happen, and they're not just talking the talk, but they're walking the walk. And so I'm super excited to bring to the stage, representing Positivity Pays, Brandon and Ramon.
Please welcome our next guest.
Tell them that I am somebody. Tell them I need change, don't change, I get rowdy. Tell them that I am somebody. Tell them I need change, don't change, I get rowdy. Tell them that I am somebody. Tell them I need change, don't change, I get rowdy. Tell them that I am somebody. Come and shout it if you got it, cause you know I'm always better. It don't matter what you've been through, long as you went through from this point, it's all mental. Sounds simple, but it's hard.
Hey!
What's up?
Oh. Welcome to the show, guys.
Welcome. We're super excited to have you guys with us today.
Awesome. You know, I love that intro that you had for us. That was awesome.
Where have we heard that song before? All right.
Yeah, it was so familiar.
No, but that's exciting, man. Jump into that. Tell us a little about you guys. Musicians. That's a huge deal.
Yeah, so we actually both started in music. Cool. That's our passion, both of us, and we connected much later. And I was explaining to Brandon when we first met that like I was only doing positive music. I was only doing music with just clean hip hop with a positive message. I wasn't doing anything else. I wasn't even going to touch anything else because of my experience in the music industry and what I was seeing that was going on in our communities. Okay. And I remember Brandon was like, so I get to poke some fun at him, right? So he's like, man, I don't know if this would work, and how are you going to make money with something like this? Because it's just not being done. You don't see that, and people kind of shy away from doing positive things, especially in hip hop. And I don't remember what it was exactly that we started working on first.
Well, let me kind of get my side of that story. The fun that he posted. Let me poke that. So, what happened was, I was running a successful music studio in South Florida. and my primary customer was hip hop, pop, and R&B. And so, you know, that mainstream type of music has a message usually associated with it. And the money I was making, it was always, you know, foul language towards women, you know, very derogatory. But that's what was paying the bills to make the studio run, and that was what was paying my bills. So when he came to me with this, in my mind, it sounded like he was gonna be Will Smith. Or like, how was a local artist going to make that work in my 27-year-old brain that now I'm just making money based on guys being superheroes in the sense that they get the most money, get the most women, kill the most people, and now you're talking about, no, I want to uplift women, I want to be married, I want to be a father. It just didn't make any sense to me, you know, at the time, and I'm glad he made it make sense to me. So, you know,
so that was my thing, is how did it make sense to you, right?
It made sense to me once he continued to say things like, "Hey, I just got a contract with Pepsi." No, well, hey,
that helps.
Hey, I just had a credit union just pay for all these CDs. And I'm like, I've never heard of anybody, whether it be on the mainstream or locally, get things like that done, get free press by working with the Homeless Voice and things. It was like everybody was trying to go through the front door. And at that time, we were just getting out of the sell CDs out of your trunk. So it became mixtape. So everybody was making that type of music. And he was taking a completely different approach. He wasn't doing any mixtape music. He was doing all singles, and it was always attached to something. You know, and so over time, he just kind of wore me down to just understand that I'm watching all these talented artists not go anywhere, not do anything, make this music that I really don't resonate with. I'm kind of like, yeah, as I get older and older, and I hear you talking about, I have a mother, I have aunts, I have friends, I have a sister. And the way in which we're talking about them, just started to make sense that let's go a different route, because I was seeing success, and that's what was aligning with my spirit too. So that's kind of how we formed Voltron.
Right.
Well, so this is so interesting. I know we haven't even gotten into a question. You guys are already dropping gems. Something I want to ask about that. Why do you think it's like that? Like, there's a line that I don't want to say he's my favorite, but Jay-Z rapped once. We said, if skills sold, truth be told, I'd probably be lyrically Talib Kweli. Truthfully, I want to rhyme like common sense, but I did 5 mil and I've been rhyming like common sense. And that has always been such a very powerful line, because here's a guy who's saying, I can do what this guy is doing. I actually probably want to be out here doing what this guy's doing, talking to the community, uplifting people a different way in terms of the words I'm using, but I'm over here making 5 million because of the way I'm putting this stuff out there. And I don't really think Jay-Z talks, you know, uber violence, but he also doesn't shy away from, I mean, he's transitioned into talking a little high level now with things like buying teams and stuff like that. So why is it that doesn't translate in why is it that more money is coming across from, or paying the bills from, the other type of music?
Well, so the way I see it, and when I look at the industry, it's not that you're making more money because you're talking a certain way. It's that they're willing to pay you to be negative. Wow. Your own community, right? So you're the only one making the money from the negative music you're putting out. Yeah. While the liquor companies making money, the strip clubs are making money. Everything that's harming the community is actually making money.
I see it. Okay.
The people don't benefit in no way, shape, or form from the music that's coming out. Actually, it's more harmful to the people, right? Even the prison industry benefits from the negative music, right? When you look at how many artists have recently been arrested, you know, they're funneling money through that system. Right? The record label benefits from that, because then there's the record sales, even though the artists can't really enjoy any of that money because they're sitting in prison, or if they get murdered, some of these record labels have life insurance contract, you know, on the artists that they're putting out that are spreading this negative message. And so I think if I was willing to put out a negative message, I'm sure I could find somebody
more
willing to pay me for it, right? I'm not willing to do that, so I have to take a different route, because we're all harmed if I go that route, but I might be able to make a little money.
Well, thank you guys. Well,
yeah, Winston and I have also had this conversation as well.
Yeah. No, because it's interesting. I saw I think it was a tweet where a woman put up, again, in light of what's been going on recently, that the feds have more information on where a rapper has taken a piss in the last month, but couldn't track the young man that did what he did recently. And I think that that's interesting because that is really what they're saying. Like they're out here creating RICO cases for guys who are, rapping about stuff and crying and stuff like that. But people who are plotting, mass suicides of people are being, aren't getting the same level of scrutiny. And these people are blatantly out here going, we're going to go around and kill people. Like,
right.
And people aren't out here checking for that.
What's crazy about that is where we talk about in terms of like crime statistics. And usually crime statistics are higher in places where they police more. Right. So it's not about an area being more violent or less violent. It's about where they're spending their resources. So when you think about a mass shooting or a mass shooter, the feds aren't focusing on white supremacy like that or white supremacists that may do like that. They're focusing on the rappers that are already telling themselves. So they're already a part of the RICO case because they're undercover officers.
Talking stuff.
So they can already put the case together because they're part of the crimes that are being committed. So it's a lot easier to do that. If I was standing in the room with you doing the drug deal, I could obviously put together the case as opposed to now us having to figure out, okay, well, why did this guy do this? Or why did this guy? You're not policing that like that. You're not enforcing that like that. But when it comes to our community, and then we're putting a target and giving them ammo by saying the things that we do, and oftentimes in the lyrics they're being truthful about who they shot, what they did, and all these things. Or even if they're not. They're still giving
putting information out there.
They're still putting information out there and giving the judge ammo. I was sitting in a courtroom one day and they were trying to use that same very thing against a friend of mine. I watched this in real time, someone that was actually the victim. So a lot of times we don't even understand that this is happening.
Well,
so in overtime, you're going to have to explain to some of our viewers what is a RICO case or something. You guys mentioned and I don't even know what that is.
Collusion.
Yeah,
they do it. They do it for racketeering, and they do it with the mob as well. It's how they can connect. They pull you in, Janelle, because they may not have enough on you, but you do something with Brandon, and we have enough info on Brandon, so we can pull him in and you bring you down because we know you are an associate of his.
Got it.
So they charge you with conspiracy, which is
a lot easier to convict than some other crime.
Than an actual crime.
Right. Wow. Okay, so before we go off on a complete other tangent, because now I got like a whole bunch of things in my mind with that.
No, it's I mean, this is just a lot of the conversations I'm having recently is because of what's been going on. It's just it's just wild because think about it. We're here trying to, how are we gonna make some extra money?
Right.
People are really out here, and it's they out here doing on a different thing. Their mission in life is something completely different.
Something completely different, yeah. So how would you guys answer today's question? Could ignoring your mental health be hurting your business? What have you guys seen with those that you work with? What do you say?
I'll go first. I have a story. So it was the answer is yes, right? So my story is I've had really, really bad anxiety over the years from performing, all kinds of things I've been through. And so just performing became more and more difficult for some reason when it should be a little easier, with the amount of times that I've performed in front of people. And it got so bad. I mean, I was in my head and I started to get, I was suicidal, to be honest, right? Over something where it was like, I've gotten to the point where I've always dreamed of being at, but being here, I was so nervous and scared of what was going to happen on being on the stage. And I realized that I had issues mentally that I had to deal with in order to continue this business and in order to continue being able to perform and speak to people. And so I started going to therapy.
Whoa.
And it completely changed my life. I have a totally different outlook, and I'm able to remember why I started this, right? And what it felt like as a child wanting to be in this very position, right? This is all I've dreamed about, and I'm finally here. But for so long, I wasn't able to really appreciate being here, right? And I was looking to escape it instead of basking in it. And so my mental health was really stunting me from the growth of our business, and so it was hurting him as well, because this is, you know, this is a business that we're both running. Sometimes I have to perform, sometimes I have to speak. We have he's setting up some amazing things, and it's like he has to be able to rely on me to do these things, right? And he's doing work behind the scenes and he's not speaking. He's got to be able to rely on me, and I'm hurting him, I'm hurting myself, I'm hurting my wife, I'm hurting my daughter, because I just can't get over the things that are happening mentally, right? So if you have certain fears, if you have anxiety that's almost paralyzing or crippling at times, those are things you have to deal with, because you just can't, you're not going to go any further than where you're at if you can't deal with those things. So for me, mental health is everything now that I've experienced this, right? I see people going through things, and I think this has really helped our business, because we know we need to address this, right? We know we need to, we've connected other people to therapists in the community, making sure that they get help, because I just can't expect our community to get better if nobody's getting better mentally, right? If nobody's able to take care of themselves. How are we all going to survive if it's like those in the community have been hurt, but they've never dealt with the hurt, right? They're going to just continue to hurt until we actually deal with what's actually hurting people.
How did that conversation? Oh, no,
go ahead. Win.
Well, I love this because you're I think I want to say the second person who's openly talked about going to therapy after they started recognizing, you know, the limiting beliefs. And not just maybe going out and grabbing a book, you know, like a self-help book, but they were like, you know, I really got some stuff to talk to somebody about. But how did the conversation come about with you two now, where in my mind, that's something like you kind of keep to yourself, but obviously he's seeing that affect the business. Yeah, okay, there we go.
Yeah, no, I kept it to myself for a while, and I think this is, you know, we became brothers through a lot of the struggles that we both go through, right? And it's like, a lot of times it's easier to stay silent, just because it's like, you know, there's fear, you don't want to be embarrassed, you don't feel like you're crazy, you don't want people talking about you. There's all these different things going through your head. But I went and got some help first, and then I talked to him about, bro, I'm really having an issue with this. This is why. So when my nephew passed away, this was like one of the worst things for me, and trying to deal with this, because he's one of those people. It's like you're doing it for somebody sometimes, right? You're making him proud. Like, you know, I remember him telling me, man, I'm so proud you're my uncle. Like that just, I'll have that forever, right? And when he passed, it's like one of the reasons why I'm doing this, I no longer have a reason for it, right? And so it was just getting more and more difficult to go through with this. But I remember talking to Brandon, and Brandon was like, the most supportive person ever, and I was nervous because you don't know how anybody's going to respond to that, right? And I think he was the first person I actually told, and he was just like, "Well, what can we do to actually deal with this?" He started looking up things, and I mean, it was.
That's a real friend. That's a real friend.
And it was like, "Look, we're going to deal with this, right? We're going to both deal with this because we're both dealing with it now, right? So I can't ignore it either. We have to deal with that because it's affecting who you are as a person, right? And so being able to have a support system is extremely important. And I know some people don't have that, but that I think comes with relationship marketing. That's a different, right? Because it's like we have a relationship. This is different than just, hey, you know, oh, he's cool, we do business, but we don't know each other personally, right? So it's even harder to come to you when there's an issue. And so I think getting to know each other was one of the best things for me. I know it was one of the best things for me because it helped me business-wise, as a father, as a husband, as a man. I became better and better the more attention I put towards the things that were hindering me.
Well,
yeah. What an awesome story. Sorry. Thank you for sharing that, because
of course,
yeah, there's probably a lot of people who out there who might still be in the place where you were, which is like, I don't know if I can tell anybody. And to like have the courage to be like, well, I'm going to say something, right? And then for Brandon, for you to be on the other side of that, to be like, all right, I got you. Like, let's figure this out.
Yeah, it's vitally important. And so, you know, some of the things that I would do, like I said, like Ramon said, was, you know, I would always try to bring information which would breed some confidence. So oftentimes there's just a lack of understanding something, or like, so when we have conversations about him getting off stage, I would always be encouraging and say, man, you did incredible, right? I start with that. And then the way I would talk about the improvements, because I know he was super nervous, I know he was super anxious, right? Would be to lay things out in a way that were the most constructive in his criticism, because I knew, you know what I'm saying, him being on that stage was a feat in itself, and somebody just paid for him to be there. You know what I'm saying? So everything that I would do would be very strategic in trying to let him know that he did an incredible job, trying to let him know this is how we can do these things better. Like I would treat his performances and his speeches like my own PowerPoint presentation. Like I would bullet point and to say, like, let's do it like this. You know what I'm saying? If you do it like this, it'll make you feel a little more comfortable. You may get a laugh here to make people, you know what I'm saying? It'll relax you. It'll relax the crowd. So there are many different techniques and things that I would try to be, because I wasn't up on stage, you know what I'm saying? Right. So it was one of those things that I was like, well, let me try to provide the most supportive and the most caring environment possible, you know. It was just one of those things that was you know, and as Black men, you know, I can speak to this because of, you know, my father. It's very difficult to talk about what's going on in your head, because everything is about what's going on in your body. How do you feel? Right. You can forget about what's going on in your head. You're tougher than that.
Yeah.
You know, and then being somebody that plays sports, I almost had to get rid of how I felt. Like you got a thigh injury, you got an ankle injury.
Shake that off. Yeah, shake that off.
So we can. That's actually tangible and visible to people, right?
Yeah.
You can see if my ankle is twisted or my wrist is broken, right? But if I tell you something's going on in my head, you think that I'm basically, you know, not telling
making an excuse. Yeah.
The Black community, because we look at therapy and we look at things in mental health oftentimes as, just being honest, a white people thing or some stigma, right? When we should be the most depressed.
Absolutely.
Right.
line out the door.
We're out here at supermarkets getting shot up for no reason. Like we should be upset.
Yeah, seriously.
Right. So given the fact that we have the most pressure on us, but then we don't have the most relief being provided to us or the space, it's a pressure cooker. And so because I understood that, and because this is my brother, I just tried my best to try to figure it out, because nobody gave me the tools, but I always reach back to information and education. Every time there's a problem, I just go looking for information. That's just a thing that I do. So I don't know if it's the right way or the wrong way, but that's just what I do. So when he told me this, or if he tells me, okay, well, let's just figure out how to do this. Okay, let me go research. Let me go read a book. Let me go, you know, look on the internet. So that's kind of how we've been able to push through this. But the answer to the question, as he stated, is absolutely yes. Because at the end of the day, he mentioned his nephew, you know, transitioning on. You think about it, when someone dies in your family, the first thing they offer you or you take is bereavement. Why? Because your mind is not right. How can you, especially for somebody else, if what's going on upstairs isn't clicking, isn't functioning? I don't even care about the work now. If my mind, let alone talking about being present or being effective, how is that possible to try to perform under the circumstances when your mind just isn't there? And you know, people talk about it all the time when they say things like, I checked out. Whether that's based on a mental health situation, whether that's based on just not caring or just not, you know, wanting to do it, the moment your mind goes, everything else goes, you know.
Okay, so you answered one of my questions. Immediately I was thinking, like, what made Brandon think, like, okay, well, like, I don't know, but like, let's research it, let's figure it out. Like, what compelled you on that side to? So it took Ramon courage to be able to say something, but then, like, on the flip side, I'm thinking, like, what was going on in Brandon's mind that he was like, you know what, I'm gonna help him, and I don't have the answers, but like we'll try and figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, what compelled me at the end of the day is his success is rooted in my success, right? So his mental health is now rooted in my mental health, right? So if he's not feeling good, I'm not feeling good, right? So, you know, when you have that type of symbiotic relationship and that type of synergy, with any relationship you have, whether it's a brother, a business partner, a wife, a husband, a cousin, a family member, whatever it is, when you have that type of care and concern and you're that attentive to the situation and you care about it enough, you'll figure it out. At the end of the day, we're talking about, you know, the mental health that the Black community has to deal with. One thing we are is resilient people. And so as a resilient person, I just figured, hey, there is no he's going through this. We can't fix it. It
We
has to be fixed, and it's us. It's not.
yeah.
Right.
And you know that was like seeing people, you know, talking to my wife, Brandon, you know, just different people about like being. I remember doing one speech, and I was so nervous, like I was shaking uncontrollably.
Oh,
Now
wow.
my dad performed for thousands of people in Haiti. We've been all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
So it you know, it's something you think like, what do you mean you're nervous to the point, or you're anxious to the point where you can't do it anymore?
Mhm.
And then it was like, I have to do something about this. It was getting so bad that I would rather not be here than be on stage.
Wow.
And it was like, I'm going back to everything negative in these moments. For some reason, I just go back to everything negative. I couldn't think about like what we were building and how just incredible it is to be here and in these situations. Like right now, even just being on this show is amazing. When I saw the promo, like I can sit in that now and I'm like, wow, like this like this is amazing, right? This is dope. Look at this opportunity. Before it was like, oh no, I gotta do it. I gotta do another interview. I don't know if I can do it. And it was a fear where it was a paralyzing fear.
Wow.
Where I just couldn't keep going anymore for some reason. You know, and we did a keynote the other day in Miami, and I'm driving on 95 on the way there.
He has my bullet points, by the way.
Yeah. Bullet points, right? So I'm in my mind, I'm like, these are the things I'm going to talk about, right? I'm doing it this way, and I've been doing this for 2 days because he did this 2 days ago, so I'm on point. And I'm maybe 20 minutes out, and it hits me. I get this real powerful emotion. Have you ever been so emotional, like a euphoric feeling though?
Oh, okay.
Can't explain it. Like it feels so good, I couldn't tell you how good this is in this moment. I just couldn't. Right. And I mean, my eyes are welling up. I'm trying to drive. So I'm like, get it together, boys. Get it together. Right. So I'm driving, and it hit me that I had accomplished everything that I was trying to accomplish. And that this wave of calm, like, you know, but it was the mental health part that I started paying attention to, which is why I started feeling this way. Because now I can see it. Right. I can see the success of it. I can see the benefits of it. I can see people enjoying it. I can see all the good in it that I wasn't looking at before, right? And so my eyes are welling up, and I'm hearing like my grandmother, my nephew saying that they're proud of me because they said this before they passed. They passed within 4 months of each other. Wow. And I'm hearing all of this, and I'm feeling this because I remember what it felt like when they said it. It was like, oh my God, like. You feel that way about me, right? Because I think all of us go through that where we're like, we don't realize how great we are. Right? Yeah, right? We don't realize how great we are or how great we can be. And so in that moment, it was like I was able to appreciate it. And when I got there, I completely forgot about everything. I go out to speak, no nerves at all. It was I realized I deserved to be there, right? And I had work to be there. So I was where I was supposed to be. And so that changed everything for me, just knowing that I deserved to be here. And so I'm looking at it a little bit differently, but it was through that struggle, through having a brother like, hey man, I don't know how we're going to deal with this, but this is something that I'm going to make, you know, I'm going to help you correct. This is something we're dealing with. You're not dealing with it alone. And I think that gives strength too, when you know that in this battle, it's not just me. I got people that have my back, right? And so it built so much more confidence knowing that somebody had my back too, to where I can talk about it and not feel away.
Man, I have so many questions. My goodness. But the alarm we heard is the timer for this first segment, so we're definitely going to carry this into overtime. That definitely went fast, but I mean, that's just what we love. So really quickly before we jump off on this side, here's their website, you guys. Let's throw the link for that. So if you guys
Station
want
Flag Day.
to
And we have a Haitian superhero.
Oh, check that out. I know a couple.
Yeah. Julian Rubble, The Adventures of Julian Rubble. So go to the website, check it out. Right now, all the books are sold out, but we just ordered some more. So just give us a moment and we'll be able to get that to you. So if you go to the website, we'll be able to get that fixed as soon as the podcast is over with.
Oh,
That's
awesome.
huge. Wow. Thank you guys. So yeah, definitely make sure you guys go and check out their website. There go their IGs. You can get them up on Instagram. Go follow and support. So as we take it into overtime, the question I had, and I think this would be key because our audience are people looking at maybe just starting their business. They're in that journey on that, on their way, and you guys are definitely still on your way. But I would love for you to talk about, Ramon, some of the things maybe you got from therapy that kept you from making that, I'm going to definitely call it a bad decision to check out a while back, to allow you to now have that moment you just described driving. Because I think there's so many people where that's what we want. You know what I mean? It's that moment of just recognizing that we make a difference here, like we matter. But you could have missed that moment had you not did X, Y, and Z. So if there's, maybe 3 things that you could, share with the audience, if you could share one now, a little bit. And then
let me say this, like, I like how you put that. So prevent me from making a bad decision. But when I think about it now, I made a lot of bad decisions before going to therapy. And I didn't realize I was making bad decisions because I wasn't equipped with the information to make the decision in the first place, right? And so I put a lot of stuff off out of fear. I was putting things off, and I can guarantee you people are thinking about starting a business, but the fear of starting the business is preventing them from going forward. And that fear could come from a parent who spoke to you a certain way without you realizing, wow, that was negative. Maybe they didn't mean it like that. Let me deal with that before trying to go into this business so I don't go in with that fear, right? Or with the anger. Like I noticed I had a lot of anger towards, if I felt disrespected, I respond a certain way. And it's a lot of that is in our head because it's like, I don't know you. Why would I disrespect you? I just didn't. Right? But we get angry real fast. Like, don't disrespect. Like, and I had all of these issues. And so I know when I look back, I know I was making bad decisions, right? Because I was angry. I know I was making bad decisions because I didn't have information. And so as I get this information, I'm making smarter and smarter decisions. I'm able to do more also because I'm not approaching it as fearful, right? If somebody says something, I can ask questions and obtain more information from them before feeling offended at all, right? Or even if their intent was to offend me, I know who I am. I don't have to be offended either. Right? I know to remove myself from a situation as opposed to just sitting in it offended, right? Or creating a bigger issue going back and forth with certain people. So all of these things, until I went to therapy, I never really thought about those things. And the most important thing I got from therapy is why I'm here doing this. Why do I feel so passionate about this? I remember being at jobs.
Ramon, I'm gonna have to
man.
We gotta go overtime.
No, but this is good, guys. You can see these guys are so excited and passionate. So make sure you click that link if you haven't. You can still subscribe to join us for that new level of membership. If you join, you can actually watch live with Brandon and Ramon on overtime. You do not want to miss that. For everybody else, you guys can catch the replay. But guys, let's throw them some love in the comments right now. If you got tons of value,
let them know.
This was so amazing, man. Thank you guys.
I'm actually really excited for overtime because the whole time when you were talking about the euphoria, I was like, he's walking in his purpose. He like finally recognizes he's walking in his purpose. So I'm excited to talk about the purpose.
Yeah.
So, we'll see everybody in overtime, and we'll wrap up here by saying,
as
always remember, you deserve a good life. Say that.
See you guys in a couple minutes.
Yeah,